Hi guys, hope you're having a good day. Today I'm going to be going through a few interesting examples where, if you look carefully, the questions and the information provided can help you answer subsequent questions a lot quicker and help give you more confidence about if a question is correct or not. This is about looking at the bigger picture when approaching questions. So here we've got a question from Asa. I'm not going to go through the solution itself, but I'm going to show you how the questions can be linked. Let's go straight to 83. 83 says that air contains nitrogen and oxygen in a 4:1 ratio approximately. Which of the following is the best estimate of the ratio of the concentration of nitrogen to oxygen in blood plasma? So just to let you know, the answer is C. 2:1. That's the answer. And you can arrive at the answer by using all the information above, including the definition up there, or the equation, along with all of these values, these KHLs. Okay, I'm not going to go through that right now because that's not the purpose of this video. Okay, so just take my word for it. The answer to 83 is C. Now, interestingly, okay, now just keep this in mind, this is asking about the concentration of nitrogen and oxygen in the blood. Interestingly, in question 81, it actually tells you that all the dissolved air is extracted from 1 liter sample of blood plasma. So there has been some air dissolved in blood that has been equilibrated to air. The extracted air is found to consist of this much nitrogen, 12.3 mils, and 6.3 mils of oxygen. So what they're trying to say is there was 12.3 mils of nitrogen and 6.3 mils of oxygen dissolved in the blood. If you look at that ratio, 12.3 to 6.2, it is 2:1. Okay? So technically, that is one way you could get to the solution, by looking at a previous question stem, in fact. Okay, so you don't really need to do anything. Another thing that's interesting is that in question 81 itself, the answer was D. Okay, the answer was D. So what was the question asking 81? It's asking, in the dissolved blood, there is more nitrogen than oxygen. Okay, in the dissolved blood, sorry, not in the dissolved blood, in the blood, there was more nitrogen dissolved than oxygen. And the question is asking why? Why is there more? Well, it's D. Because there is a higher partial pressure or concentration of nitrogen in the air. This ensures that the concentration of blood plasma will exceed the O2 concentration. In 83, I hope you're following this, in 83 it says that air contains nitrogen and oxygen in a 4:1 ratio. What is it saying? It's saying that there is a higher proportion of nitrogen to oxygen in air. So this is a direct link to that answer. So information from questions 81 and 83 are reinforcing each other. So it's always interesting to look at the bigger picture for consistency. Now I'll give you another example. This is from Asa, and I'm going to go straight to question 89. This is from a different question entirely. Now it says, of the following situations, nerve impulses pass point S at the most frequent rate. And you've got those options. Now to give you a bit of context, the previous page for this question has a diagram, and the diagram actually goes through where all these nerve impulses go depending on what things are triggered. Okay, so if you follow that flow chart, that diagram, you can answer this question. That is the typical way you can answer this. But interestingly, if you looked at 88, the previous question, in the actual question stem itself, okay, if you look at it here, when the central command neurons are stimulating the flexburst generator during the swing phase, and impulses travel past point S, which of the following would be active? In question 88, the question stem is actually answering 89 because it's asking in what situations do the nerve impulses pass point S? Well, they pass point S during the swing phase. So, in other words, D, in the middle of a swing phase. So, that is a direct link to 89. So instead of going to the flowchart and trying to figure it out, which would take you a little bit of time, the answer is literally right in front of you from the previous question. So in conclusion, when you're doing a question, don't have tunnel vision and do questions in isolation, okay? When you move on to the next question, think to yourself, what have I answered previously? What have I learned previously? Okay, and that also includes what have I read in previous question stems even. I hope this helps, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.